I would recommend leaving your claws a little bit thick, like wide, because it gives you room to tidy them all up and get them the same. If you've got one that's a bit too thin, you've then basically got to make all of them a bit too thin so they match. It's no good having them all nice and then just one thin one. It's not good enough. That won't, especially where I worked, they just wouldn't accept that. You'd have to start again. So yeah, leave them a bit wide, it helps you out. And while I do this to keep you entertained, let me put some music on, made from my friends over in Malaysia. Check it out.
起床看看天空，是不是在下雨？阳光躲在黑云的肚子里，我用全部的力气对镜子里的自己说：这世界继续旋转不等你，没有什么特别的道理。就算有多少的不愿意，谁管你？要戴面具才能出去，哦，别逃避。起床看看天空，是不是在下雨？阳光躲在黑云的肚子里，我用全部的力气对镜子里的自己说：这世界继续旋转不等你，没有什么特别的道理。就算有多少的不愿意，谁管你？要戴面具才能出去，哦，别逃避。走在路上，风吹呀吹，心情像那巴士卷起滚滚。
Okay, I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to hide nothing from you, so you can see all my dodgy craftsmanship. Putting myself out there for ridicule and abuse. So yeah, I filed around it. Like I said, I just wanted to just clip over that line I used my dividers for. That needs tidying up a little bit. They're not all exactly the same. I actually went around it twice. Yeah, I went round it once to get that V section down, then I went round it again to try and get that angle the same on all of them, because it wasn't the same. So now I'm looking at that. I'm sort of at a stage I'm happy to move on with, but it may need a bit more work. Paper disc time. And before we get this disco started, I looked down straight on it, having a look at my gaps, checking the alignment of the claws. Again, I'm looking top and bottom, just looking at the one the opposite side and seeing how much it lines up. Because if it's slightly off, you may have an opportunity to sort of thin it more from one side rather than the other. But if they're quite accurate, mine are not too bad. I'm just thinking about straightening them off down the sides, both sides, an even amount. Maybe work on one claw at a time. So that one, yeah, so you have to straighten the sides. So you see I've worked on these a little bit. They're not identical, so this one needs thinning off a little bit to match this one. But basically I'm just running this down the sides. And I'm not worrying about going down to the V. We'll square them all off all the way around, and then I'll go back to the side and pay attention to that. Flatten the top again. It's nice if you do this because it gives you a, sort of cleans it off, so you can see more clearly what you've done. Not perfect, but they're looking much better. A couple of them. That one looks a bit wider. So now I'm paying attention to the side again. You can see I don't want them to start going like wide. Where's a good example? Like that one started going wide, like just there. I want it to come down a bit more before it goes into a V. So I want like kind of long vertical claws. It should all be vertical as well. You shouldn't have one going that way and that way. You should try and keep them all straight and parallel to each other.